All right, we are live. One person watching already. That's pretty crazy. Oh, all right. Well, hopefully everyone's having a good week. I just decided I'd do another little AMA or an Ask Me Anything live stream. Low budget quality, of course, just using the cell phone cam here. And we'll have to see how YouTube sends out the notifications to people if anybody wants to watch this good old thing. But yeah, been a pretty crazy week here. Waiting for this thing to update. There we go. Now we're coming up. If you're in the stream, say hello. There you go. Shamrock Forge, hello. Yeah, it's been a pretty crazy week here for me. Lots of stuff, lots of orders going out the door, lots of work, lots of failure points on my work. So it's been one heck of a week. So for me, myself, I just keep talking till enough people show up, I guess. Hello, everyone. So I see a bunch of familiar faces. Shamrock, hello. Daniel Crawford, hello. Page 76 Metalcraft, hello. Robert Schnell, hello. Wolfpack Forge, hello. Jesse, how's it going? Hammer Time New York, hello, hello. Oh, aren't you just right there now? Yes, I am, Island Metal Forge. Yamez, how you doing, buddy? Regina Works, hello, hello, hello. So, greetings to everyone. So, thanks for joining me. Just doing another one of them little Q&A live streams for anybody who's interested in that sort of thing. Right up front, this isn't the giveaway live stream. There's no giveaways going on, for this one. This is just purely to take and chat and have a good old-fashioned chat like we used to do a while ago, as you could tell from the lower production quality standards when Jessica's not involved. Oh. Let's see here. Redondo Rita, hello. Old School, evening. Alice Harvey, hello. Greetings from everyone. So good to have everybody in the house. Looks like we're doing pretty good. 10 likes and 30 people already. Awesome. Awesome. So next week's live stream will actually be a giveaway live stream. We'll actually be forging tongs and be giving them away during this stream. So for any of you that are interested in that, I'm sure there's plenty of you here that will show up to that sort of thing. That'll be next weekend, if that's what you're in for. So, Neil Graham. Hey, good to have you, brother. Thank you for being here. Spencer Coates, hello, Picklehead. Henry St. Forge, hello. Good to have you. Yeah, Yabez. Yeah, that's weird if you say, oh, I can't stay long. Just leave and come back. Oh, Aimless Adventures, hello. And yeah, hope all is symmetrical. Everything's symmetrical in my world so far. Steel Rose Forge, good evening, fellow Michigander. Veteran Ironwood, how you doing, brother? Good to see you and familiar faces in the house this evening. B&B Forge, hello. Yeah, Original Ironworks, that's pretty cool. Creeping up on 60,000 subs now. That's pretty neat. We've been really slow on subscriber growth and views of any of the videos here lately, so I don't know what YouTube's doing, or maybe I'm doing. Maybe I'm just no longer anybody's cup of tea for the year. I don't know what it is, but it's probably a mix of just content's not hitting right now. I'm really busy in the shop, so I haven't had a chance to blow anybody away with content, I would say. And even the ones that I tried really hard on to blow people away on content, that it just didn't get the traffic, got a few hundred views at best. So I don't know where the channel's going to go with that. YouTube's got me in this weird little bubble right now. So, but yeah, so we're creeping up very slow, about 20 new subs a day. So we'll get there. We'll get there eventually. And maybe one day, 100K. Probably have to give away like a power hammer or something to get me there and promise great things. Time to build a food on the forge. Uh-oh. Is that a suggestion, Hammer Time New York? So, Alice Harvey, I'm glad you're liking the beginner techniques on there. Yeah, I don't know if anybody got a kick out. I got a kick. I thought it was fun to make that video the other day of calling out all my closet subscribers. That was literally me in my closet. I was peeking out my closet. That took a little bit to squeeze in there for you all, but everything for that thumbnail, right? Something something power hammer? Yeah, something something power hammer. So that's probably what I'll have to do to take, and I have to buy everyone's love on YouTube, you know. Oh. So how am I coming in? Is the video footage all jittery and jumpy, or are we doing good there? Hopefully the audio's doing good. Everyone can hear me okay and clear. So, what did I forge today? Forgot who asked there. Sometimes this phone likes to glitch a little bit. Firefox Forge. What did I forge today? I actually forged a quick project, just a quick one and done out of the thing. It was basically a plasma cut cross that just had some edge texture to it. Wasn't a whole lot I got done on that front today, but there's a bunch of other stuff building in the shop. I actually was working on a hammer this week that did not work out very well, and so that put me about 60 hours behind the 8 ball. Yeah, can't do nothing about it. It's just the way it way the cookie crumbles. So yeah, so I've been trying to squeeze in other little projects in between, trying to wheel myself back up with enough courage to get going again on making those. So audio's a little hot. Let's see here. Is that better? Let's see if that's any better. Hopefully it's better. Yeah, veteran ironwood. Unfortunately, it is your hammer, unfortunately. But you said you didn't want to see any progress photos of it. You wanted to be surprised, and I was hoping to have something else made to surprise you, but had a major setback. But was going to email you as soon as I found enough courage. So, would you like to see the one that broke? This will be purely on veteran ironwood if he wants me to show the one that broke. So, the Physicist 420. What's a good size for a blacksmith shop? Okay, veteran ironwood. I'll show the hammer here in a second. A good size for a blacksmith shop is anything you can put your butt in and get to forging with. I will always say just get started wherever you can, but I will say this, the larger the better. If you can afford larger, go with larger, because about the time you think, oh no, that's all the shop I'll ever need, you'll buy more tools or larger tools than what you were expecting on a good deal, and then all the logistics of trying to find ways of housing all those tools will catch up on you. So that would be my suggestion on that. 12 by 16 foot would be a good one, yeah. Yeah, Tech Runmatic. Late start. Yeah, just a question and answer live stream. So, all right, I'll make sure. All right. So here was going to be the big unveil. And I thought it came out really great. So that was the hammer I was working on. Hopefully everybody can see the details. It's got it on that side and that side. So everything came out great. All good in these departments. This was all doing well. And then, disaster. I don't know if this will show up in the camera or not. But you see right along. Can you all see that okay? You see that side here is clean. Looks really clean. And then if you look right down here, which I can't see if I'm in the shot or not, the chat's popping up there. But hopefully you guys can see right there, there's a crack. And there's a crack that goes right along the carbon migration line for about 1/2 inch deep. It goes down about 1/2 inch deep into this. So, or I'm assuming it does, because when I dunked it in the water a second time, it was still hot. I put it in here and water came out the other side over here. So, yeah. Now on this hammer, a thing like this, okay, it is not, how do I say, it's not that critical of a crack area, right? So if you're hammering on this like this, this is the peen, right? Yeah. Oh, so if you're hammering on this, you're only going to be driving this wedged material. That's high carbon steel bit into wrought iron. You're only going to be driving it into the hammer. So the odds of this ever dislodging and coming out are almost next to none. But since I pride myself on putting out a quality product to someone who pays a lot of money to get a hammer from me, I want to make sure that they get a hammer that is fully functional and not something that's kind of half-butted. Now, there's a lot of ways you could do this. Somebody mentioned you can TIG weld it, right? Hopefully I'm still here. So, Veteran Ironwood, I'm glad you I'm glad you liked it, brother. So, you could TIG weld this. You could grind it out and potentially try to forge weld this back. That is a possibility. It might be able to do that, but you'd have to grind out the material and try to forge weld it back without wrecking a bunch of this detail. And the crack is not in the actual high carbon steel. The crack is in the space between the wrought iron and the high carbon steel. So it's on the carbon migration line. Because whenever you weld from a higher carbon steel to a lower carbon steel, you get a little bit of carbon transfer. And along that line, that's kind of, you could say that's your weld line as well, right? That there is susceptible to where most hammer faces and things like that pop off. So, so that's why, this thing cracked right along there, and it's just simply unacceptable for my work. But yeah, that's how it is. No, I would pay full and hang it up if I could afford it. Curtis, I appreciate that. I like that. Aimless adventure, that's great. I can make a hammer like that. It will just be a little wonky, and the rope would be crooked. And the leaf would look like a bunch of dings, and it would be terrible. But it would be close somewhat. I love that. Page 76 Melcraft, thank you for the $5 super chat, brother. Appreciate it. Hey, and the sign lighted up. Huh. That worked. I thought that only worked when we did the regular live streams on the computer. So cool. Everybody give him a hand clap. So. He said, now send me the hammer. There you go. well, I appreciate it. So, yeah, it lighted up. But yeah, so I don't know. The hammer may stay in my private collection. I'll probably handle it and use it, but I appreciate that, Veteran Ironwood. I really do appreciate that. Oh. Yep, I do appreciate that. Yeah, it sucks. It's just, it's part of it. So, but I mean, is what it is. So, I mean, you didn't ask for me to make it that fancy. I decided I wanted to make it that fancy, and then there's the there's a problem, right? There's the you can just lose all that work when you're doing high detailed chased hammers. So Henry St. Forge, yep, no tape on the hands tonight. So you can see the black thumbnail there. It's working pretty good. Michael McMillan, that'll cover the cost of your morning coffee. Yeah, kinda. When I'm drinking, I drink it pretty heavy. I drink it pretty heavy. So, yeah. So, but yeah, that's basically it. So that kind of sucked. That kind of knocked me back on my heels a bit. I was like, God. I'm like, yeah, I could see it. I was getting to that point where you can see the project. You could see the realization of the project in your mind. You're like, oh, this is almost done, right? Like you're like, yeah, I'm right there. You know, another 2-3 hours and I will have a handle in this booger and it will be ready to go, right? Like be in those final finish works. And yep, right in the heat treat, had to crack right on the carbon migration line. So that's so that was a that was a smack. But anyways, so I hope you all like it. It's pretty good. It's definitely not for the faint of heart doing all that work. You know, you do all that work and then it goes to poo. You know, this is all good. This is good shape. You know, that came out of the quench great, and yeah. But that peen though, that peen. Did you use flux, Wiley? Nope. Didn't have to use flux. Not on this. I didn't use flux on this side, but down in here I did use flux on this to get it all closed up. But wrought iron, it's not necessary as much just because, yeah, just because it has its own self-fluxing. If you're just welding wrought to wrought, but if you're welding high carbon to wrought, then yeah, you need to do that. Roy's 4-letter word. Nails are expendable, thumbs aren't. Watch that thumb. I do appreciate that. Thank you for keeping reminding me. Oh. Thank you, Techromatic, for that advice on that. So, yeah, and I may do that. Now I have a wrought iron hammer that I made in a class a long time ago with Tom Latney, and when I finished, I got it too hot and I really wasn't paying attention. I was rushing. I was trying to get this hammer out the door while I still had Tom's ear to ask questions with. So I went in for the quench and the peen cracked inside the bird's mouth weld. And the thing about the bird's mouth weld is it's a very secure weld. You know, it holds that bit in there pretty good. And so it cracked lengthways of the peen. So it cracked like right down the lengthways of the peen. And I have still used that. Hammer 7 years later, and I'm still using that hammer. Not daily, but a couple times a month at least, and it still works well. If you keep that up, we will have to call you Thummy. Ronaldo, that's funny. Hey Hans, good to have you in the house, brother. Dogbone knives, thank you. Sorry guys, I've been rambling too much. I haven't been paying attention to the chat. So thank you all for being here. Appreciate it. So you guys are like my AA group. Maybe that's what we should start calling these. Blacksmith AA meeting. Michael McMillan, great question. Have you been into ironwork all your life? Like, did your dad teach you? I have not been a blacksmith all my life. My dad did teach me in doing heating and air conditioning, and we did a lot of tinning and sheet metal work and things like that. So that was kind of my first experience with working into any sort of ironwork, if you would call it that, but tinning, doing tin work and things like that. That was my, so I used to do a lot of trades and crafts and stuff. So, I mean, I did a lot in the trades. Did that first and foremost. So, hold on, I'm getting notifications. Am I still live? My screen froze over here. Hopefully, I'm still good. Anthracite Anonymous. I like that. Oh. Hopefully we're doing good. I'm getting like a bazillion notifications right now from Penny Brown, so. There we go. Hopefully we're back. Screen froze. I should be back. Good. Little Leatherwood Ironworks. How can I make a good for my rivet forge? A hood for your rivet forge. Okay, good. Everybody can hear me. Great. I'm back. To make a hood for your rivet forge, you do it in a lot of different ways. Some people will take drums. If it's a round rivet forge, they'll take like a 55-gallon drum and then put a smokestack out of the top. You can make yourself you can cut it out and then make a hood that way. Other than that, it's kind of there is a lot of, I guess you would say, videos out there of guys building hoods. I would suggest kind of checking around YouTube a little bit on that and take whatever you see that seems to work pretty good and truncate that to your design, right? So if you have a big forge, well, obviously a little tiny hood maybe not be what you want. You might want a big, large hood. So I would have to see the rivet forge to, help out with that department. Let's see here, trying to read here. Bill Wool, question, how do you come up with a name for the business that hasn't been used before? Well, Bill, that's a great question about business. Basically, you just have to start commenting. You just have to comment on, you basically just have to do a Google search of that name and then see what comes up. You can use a similar name or a similar, what they call them, acronym, right? You can use a similar acronym or a similar name to another company because there's a lot of companies the names are already taken. It's just you have to change it a way that works better for your company. You might have to change maybe one whole word of what you're thinking about, but you have to have a precept to begin with. Punch that into Google the search results for that precept, whatever it is, right? Boogaloo Ironworks, right? Just say Boogaloo Ironworks, and you just type that in, and you'll have to find out, okay, Boogaloo. Boogaloo Ironworks. Is there a Boogaloo Ironworks? And you will come up with Google will feed you a bunch of different results for that name. Now, when you go to actually get a domain online for like an online website, that's another thing that will help even give you a little bit more security that the name that you picked is unique to you, because it won't just allow you to create a website that is exactly carbon copy of somebody else's name. So you'll have to come up with a unique character or a unique name for your thing. So that would be my suggestion is, first you go to Google and do like a Google search on that, and then, come up with like a list of names, like 5 or 10 names that you want to do, and plug them into Google search. If there isn't any names that come up the same as that, then narrow your list down to your top 5 picks. That would be my That would be my suggestion on that. It's kind of hard to come up with a name, and there's not a straightforward answer, unfortunately. Veteran Ironwood. Quick, somebody get that domain before Veteran Ironwood gets there. Imburla Blade Works. It's crazy. Got to wear a mask in the hot shop. Haha. Good luck with that. Yeah, I tell you. Oh. Yeah, I'm not in here. I mean, in my shop, I don't wear a mask unless, well, I'm doing something that I've got small particulates that are going to get down in my respiratory system. It's usually when I'm doing copper work. For the most part, I don't wear a mask anywhere in the shop. You know, I mean, one thing I do have is there is a lot of open air space here. So that is a benefit. You know, if you work in a shop with a lot of ventilation, or if you can force in some ventilation, you know, via a blower or something like that, have a blower putting air in and a blower taking air out, then a lot of times you can get away without having to wear any sort of masks at all while you're doing that. So, Ethan Phillips, glad you like the lighting. Glad it's good. The camera will change things up. See, if I hold my thumb up, it darkens just a little bit. But if I hold it down, it kind of brightens out. So. All right, let's see here. We are talking about the virus and how it's affecting Australia. Oh, so that's what you're talking about. Hey, what stock do you use to make your gravers? B&B Forge, great question. I use spring steel, as everyone probably knows. I use coil spring. To make my gravers, I've got really small coil spring. It's like 1/4 inch round diameter, so 1/4 inch is really good. You can make it out of a lot thicker coil spring, you know, like a car coil spring. You just have to draw it down a little further. I mean, you got to draw it out a lot further and thin it down a lot more to make it practical to get down to your end. You don't have, the forging on it isn't super crazy. You're just going to forge basically a square taper down to however small of a point you want, and then the rest is going to be file work, grind work, and heat treat. So you don't really forge in the dimensions of an engraver. You grind the rest of the way there to get all your geometry right. So hopefully that helps, Bob. RCL Forge, hello, evening. You're very welcome, Bob. I don't know why your message keeps getting retracted there, Bob, but Graham Pepper with $25 super chat. Thank you, brother. Australian super chat. I said, hey, Roy, I ran out of large 9-horseshoe nail hooks and getting quite a few sales, so I'm giving you this for a thank you for helping me through all the hard spots. You're very welcome, Graham Pepper. Thank you for helping me through all the hard spots of, you know, constantly staying with the channel. And you made that sign light up. That's awesome. Oh, thank you, Graham, very much. Greatly appreciate it. Everybody, give him a hand clap as well. Give him a hand clap as well. Oh. Spencer Coots, you have a great evening, sir. Glad you're around. Yeah, that's going to be a lot of coffees. Veteran Ironwood, thank you, brother. Will do. Take it easy. God bless you. And yeah, Jess and I will send you that email. It'll probably be first of the week, sometime Monday or so. We'll get that out to you. Thank you for your patience and continued patience. Since I'm a big dope and I like to screw things up. Yep, applause everyone. Keeping that thumb away. Thumbs out. thumbs out. Oh, man. So yeah, anyways, yeah, so this week's been a good week. Debola Blade Works, may the good Lord keep you as well and bless you. That's called being human, Roy. Yeah, that catches up to me more than once, Bill. Being human. I do a lot of humaning, it seems like, sometimes. Bar Run Forge. Well, good to have you here. Considering permanent options, permanent base for anvil. Thoughts? You could always go the standard route of getting a good stump or pier and having it drove way down deep in the dirt for a permanent base or stump. One thing I'm toying around with is a stone base for my anvil. That'll be basically a solid concrete column, and it'll be 4 feet down, and then it'll have like stonework around it, and then the actual anvil sitting on top of it there. That's what I'm considering for my anvil. So RCL Forge, nope, you haven't missed the show. I'm still here. Still gonna be talking for a while. Michael McMillan, do you work for yourself? Yes, I do. I am full-time employed by myself. Let's see here. Okay, cool. Wayne Heights, thank you. Thank you for stopping by. Very welcome. Very welcome, Troy. Okay. How often do you work for yourself, like your own ideas, like your own ideals and pleasure creations? That one's hard. So this thing here was my pleasure creation for this. I've got another one sitting in the other room as well. There's another hammer I'm working on. Let's hope that one doesn't have the same problem this has, because that'll have about 100 hours into it. Every now and then where I get to work for myself and have fun is when I just allow myself to be overly creative with a customer's order. It also allows me to develop different designs of ironwork, different things, different offerings that I can offer to another client at some point in time. And so I just take the hit on the chin as far as the labor and the cost and the materials or whatever. They're paying for something, say like a hammer, right? They're paying for this hammer, but they're not actually paying for all that detail work. That's more than what the client was paying me. So, but that's just because I wanted to, right? There's a lot of ways of making details go down on something like this, to where I could have done it for more close to what I was getting paid. But the problem is I didn't want to do that. I wanted to make something the way I wanted to make it. So that kind of is how I get to do things in my own shop. So first and foremost, the priorities are get the customer orders out the door, and then I can slack off and do what I kind of want to do. Comically enough, there's usually not a lot of time for that. So what I do end up doing is about once a year, sometimes I get lucky and twice a year, I go out and take a blacksmithing class myself, and then that's when I can just really get to enjoy and have fun. Now, I enjoy what I do, but all of my stuff is very exacting. Everything is, it has a dollar amount to it. It has a finite timeline to it. So I do have to rock things out. And there are some jobs that are funner than others. Some jobs that I get a lot more creativity and creative liberty to. And then there's other jobs that they are push rush job and they have to be right. They have to be right. And if those are just like working a regular day job with a boss, not any funny. Not any fun there. Derek stuff. Do you want to take a break? Maybe a short vacation? Maybe go to a YouTube event? Maybe? I don't know if your question got shorted there. I'm glad everybody thinks the stone ideal might work out okay. Again, I don't know how well it would work. It was going to be all reinforced and everything. And the stone was really going to be more of a, more for looks than anything. But the concrete is going to be solid. So, Techromatic, you take it easy, brother. Tell Sam I said hi. Oh. All right. A good question. 1 foot in the wild. I'm thinking of integrating a small wilderness forge for my woodcraft and wilderness skills school. Thoughts on stump anvils for small projects? They're great. Fairly easy to make. You could do them with just about anything, really. If you want to take and get yourself, really, I mean, basically they're just a taper for the most part with a collar. You really do them with just about anything. I mean, you could start it with just a sledgehammer as well. You could get a sledgehammer head and, just carve a place stump and drop it there. Sorry, guys, froze up there. Hopefully I'm still okay. Oh, and then, yeah, Michael McMillan. Everything you do in steel seems to take some time to do, eh? Yep, takes a lot of time. A lot of the stuff I'm doing. Oh. Rob Ho, I'll see what I can do. Rob Huff. Say, did it again. I'll see if I can't take it easy on Ken. I don't know. Drayson's Forge. How much does he make a year? Is that me? Or is somebody else you think about? Let's see here. Derek stuff. Sorry. Take a break with the wife and kids? Question mark. Get away from blacksmithing and do something different for a few days. I do that from time to time. And again, it's kind of one of those deals where life portrayed on YouTube or like just in business, like a lot of people think I just work I work like nonstop. I just work from sun up to sundown. And I used to for a while. I don't do that anymore. And I only take on certain commissions that I want to do, but the downside, there's a two-edged sword there. If I don't put out enough of those commissions or it takes me forever to get those done, well, then I've ate through all the money and I've still got bills to pay like anybody else. So it's really, it's kind of a balance. But one thing that I'm very blessed to be able to enjoy as running this business, and I have been very blessed over the years to do, is there are days where I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to the beach. And me and the wife and the kids, we just go take, and a lot of fathers, a lot of husbands don't that chance, right? Like they have to stay at work and work 9 to 5 or 11 to 11 or whatever it is, basically nonstop. So I feel very fortunate and privileged to be where I'm at. It's been a long road, a lot of work to get to this place. So it's definitely not easy, but I can say I definitely feel very fortunate and very blessed to be here. Where I'm at. It's just in work, like you'll find as you stay in blacksmithing and in ironwork that you have so much stuff you want to do. And then you come with the realization that you only have so many hours in your life. You only have so many years in your life, and the odds are you're not going to get everything done. So, even if you did get everything done that's on your list today, you'd have more things on your list tomorrow. So, Drayson's Forge, that's exactly right. So, Derek stuff, yeah, we are. We're very happy. Very happy. Never been happier in my life, actually. Been through a lot of rough times. Let's see here. Yeah, somebody asking about the background. Well, I'm glad you like the background. Yeah, the big barn feel. There's a lot of barn to love out here. We might go on a ride. Let's see here. Let's see what happens. Hopefully it don't break. Clear up there in the rafters. Yeah, so there's a lot of headspace up there. That makes me happy. That makes me happy on the inside. Yep, our Unforged. Yep, you're exactly right. My yeah, a lot of echo in the barn. Yeah, there is a lot of that. So yeah, it's 32 feet to the peak. So that's inside. So from where I'm sitting up is 32 feet before you hit the peak. So yeah, so pretty big barn. Like it. 40 by 60 building. It's larger than anything I've worked in before, so love it to death. But yeah, I wanted to talk about a little bit about what Bar Run had said about being passionate. One of my favorite sayings that I won't say I coined it. I guess it's just something I've come up with that I hang on myself, is that you can never fail at something that you're passionate about. And I've been very passionate about blacksmithing for over a decade of my life, and I'm going to stay passionate about blacksmithing. It's what I love to do. It's become so ingrained into everything that I do and kind of our life and things like that. The only thing that would probably take me out of blacksmithing is health. If something happened with my health, just life happens, that would be probably the thing that would get me to quit or stop blacksmithing in a full-time capacity. But I would probably always try to do it in some form or another, unless I was just a complete invalid, which is completely possible out there. But again, yeah, I love blacksmithing. I love to do what I do. There are days like any other job, and that's the thing. A lot of people think that it's just going to be a merry bed of roses, right? A lot of people think it's going to be a merry bed of roses when you get into blacksmithing, and I certainly did. I thought, well, all I got to do is, open my own forge, and every day is going to be great. And it's like, yeah, until you get that 98-degree day with 98% humidity and it's 140 in your shop. No. It's not great, right? Like maybe that computer desk job where you were sitting in the coolie might have been a little bit better, when you're working for $2.50 an hour. So there's a lot of days that it's like, man, it's not so fun. But then there's the days where I can go middle of the day where everybody else is working and say, you know what? I'll save that for later. I'll work on that a little bit later. I'm going to go to the beach today when it's too hot. And we certainly did that a couple times this year. So that's been pretty good. Jason's Forge, thank you for stopping in, brother. You be safe. Take care. Take care as well. Big Bad Iron Pappy said, I apologize if this is a repeat question, but knowing what you know now, what advice would you give someone today trying to start their own blacksmith or metal fab business? Knowing what I know now, I would say that probably the biggest piece of advice I could give somebody, if you're getting started, if you have the ability to do so, and you have a good day job already, I would work that day job, pick up extra hours, get however many OT hours you can get, things like that, and get yourself stocked up and set up with tooling first. I didn't have that luxury. I was kind of thrown into doing blacksmithing full time. I had a regular day job, and then I got in a car wreck, and then that put me out of things for 6 months, and then I didn't have a job to walk back to. So I kind of just started into doing blacksmithing, and that kind of picked up, and the Lord provided that way. But that also meant I had to wait for me to get some really big, serious commissions to be able to buy any sort of real substantial tooling. So it was a lot of sweat equity and elbow grease, literally just elbow grease, because my back wasn't having it, sitting on a stool and forging with a hammer, So RCL Forge, glad you got your stickers there. But so that would be my largest piece of advice. Now that doesn't help someone if you are already out of a job, right? And you're trying to get things started. And in that case, don't get punch drunk on the tooling, okay? You can do a lot of things with just skill and time, and only thing that tooling does for you is it helps cut out the time element. It reduces the amount of time you have to spend on a particular operation, a forging operation. I see a lot of people going out there, who's lost their day jobs and stuff, especially in the current world we're living in, and buying brand new power hammer out the door, and they're buying it all on credit and debt. And they're not going to be able to cash that check. They're not going to be able to pay that check off for 20 years. You know what I mean? I mean, it's going to be 5 years before they're even profitable. So that's something you want to avoid doing. Look for small projects, small things that you can make rapidly, that you don't have to require a ton of pay for per item, and just get yourself out there. Online market space, there is a lot of free websites out there where you can build your own website for free and have your own domains for free, and then get that out there. And just get your name out there. Go to craft shows. Go to the local farmers markets. Do whatever you can to get your name out there. Offer to maybe some of your city council members that, hey, I'm a blacksmith and I'd like to do a demonstration, or things like that. And sometimes you can pick up gigs, and even paying gigs like that, to be a demonstrator. But that would be my advice to somebody who's just trying to take and get started into blacksmithing or a fab business to get started with. It can be a very, very expensive business. I know I have probably accumulated a little over $60,000 worth of tools, but that's over the course of a decade of accumulating, right? And for the last, over a decade. So I've been doing it now about 12 years, and I have been doing it professionally for 8, coming up on 9 years. So it's been that long that I've been acquiring tools for. Back when I was doing it as a hobby, and I wasn't doing it real serious, I wasn't really gaining a lot of tools because it was a hobby, right? I wasn't going to spend a lot of money on it. And then I was getting the, I was getting the, how do I want to say, brain's going dead here. It's late in the evening. I just wasn't getting anything. I was getting small tools, little hand tools, things like that. And then when I got injured, I got laid off, and I had to go into doing something because I wasn't making any money, and I had to start doing something. And with that, I slowly started building up tooling from there. So if you could get your tooling ahead before you even get out of something, that's better. But again, it's not the tooling that makes the smith. It's the smith that makes the tools. And I'll stick by that until I'm 6 feet under. But, I'm sorry, that's a little bit of a rant. I hope that helped. I hope that helps. Derek's stuff. Are you drunk? Ha! Just kidding. Nah, not drunk. Just goofy. Just goofy as always. Yeah, Bar Run Forge. Drink some of that special coffee. Let's see here. Question. How did you know that you wanted to do this type of work compared to other trades and interests? Not really. Like I said, I just kind of fell into doing this as a trade. I knew that I wanted to do this. I took a class out at Touchstone Center for Crafts, and I felt a real call on my heart from the Lord that this is what I ought to be doing. I ought to be making things with my hands. I shouldn't be installing furnaces and attics. But I had a kid on the way. I had one already that was 2 years old. I had a 2-year-old, and I had one on the way. And I just couldn't step away from the full-time income. Well, should have listened before I got kicked. But then I got in a car accident, and then that got me out of my trades. So I kind of had to do something and I couldn't do anything where I had to require a lot of manual labor, bending, twisting, or anything of that sort, because my back was out. And so I sat on a stool and I made little horseshoe nail hooks and S hooks, and I made a jig, and slowly but surely those started selling on the regular, and we were able to pay our bills. And I had a really good friend of mine, come in and line himself with us, and Richie Krim, and he come in and helped us out in big ways, gave me jobs where I could sit and paint baseboards and stuff, with a roller and stuff. Like, I mean, really, he was just doing it so I could feel better about myself as a man, like I'm still providing an income there. I mean, he could have just gave me the money, one of those type deals, but he knew I wouldn't accept it like that. So he gave me a remedial job that I could do until I could get repaired enough I could get back on my own feet, and even let me use his garage and some of his tools as well. So I've been helped out, really blessed in that department for a long time. So, and I definitely always remember those who have stood by my side over even in the tough times. And so, yeah, so that's that's a short backstory. I've got longer like bios and stuff you can read about me over on my website and things like that if you ever get it interesting. So, but yeah, it's a lot of. I wish there was I don't know if I'd wish. My backstory is definitely, it's a confused one. It's got a lot of twists and turns. Like so many of us, we have a lot of twists and turns. It's not such a cut and dry thing. I get asked those questions quite often, and without giving you a 4-hour diatribe about how much, without giving you like a 4-hour dissertation on my life story, that's about as far as I can go. Love it, Troy. Yeah, his back story. Good one. That's great. Love that. No. Well, I hope you guys are enjoying this stream. I know this isn't our scheduled live stream. I like to hang out from. This is a great way. It's a lower budget thing. I mean, the lights are kind of terrible and stuff like that, but it's something I like to do to just hang out with you guys. Last time, everyone seemed to enjoy it pretty well, so I figured I'd do another one, and it was kind of coming down to the end of the month here. I'm like, you know what? It's like maybe a good way of just talking and hanging out and seeing how everyone's doing, and maybe brighten some people's day. Because I know with everything going on out there and all the opinions about it, you can use a space to be a little bit of a bright space, like my overblown, like the over. It's like over. See, that's better. I don't know why that is blown out like that, but yeah. Maybe if I lean, do I get closer? To get closer? If I get closer, will it darken? No, it don't. I'm all blown out. If I put my hand up there. There you go. If I put my hand up there, it looks better. Gosh, camera phones on phones. Can't do nothing about them. Let's see here. Cool, Tom. I'm glad everybody's really liking it. So, Robert Stell, tips for space efficiency in a small workspace. Well, I did come from a small workshop originally, and basically build up. Don't build out into your space. Leave yourself as much floor space as you can to get around your anvil and your forge. That way you can have a comfortable working environment there. Prioritize those two things, and then try to get everything else against and up the walls if you can. So if you're in a small shop, like I had a small shop, a 12 by 20 building. That's where I started my journey in YouTube. Started filming videos in that shop. In that 12 by 20 building, I fit a ton. I was actually shocked when I came up here and started offloading everything. I'm like, whoa, how did I fit all this in the shop? And basically, I took advantage of vertical space when I could, and if I had like a table, I tried to make everything to where it would recess under my workbenches or things like that, to where I could keep everything out of the aisleways the best, as good as possible. So that would be my suggestions for an efficient small shop. Don't buy giant tools, even if you want them. just don't do it. You'll, like, if you got a gigantic bandsaw that's sitting right in the way, you're going to realize that that's not as fun to have, real quick, so. Yeah, looks better, don't it? Clam Smasher, thank you for the €5. Appreciate it, brother. So, but yeah, if you do the, good God, let's see here. Let's see if I can move this. If I move this over a little bit, if I get close, uncomfortably close. Maybe down, maybe up. That is so weird. Anyways, I hate camera phones on cell phones. You can't do anything with the thing. This way, down, up, down, up. Why? Why? Set this way. I can get it to work. So. Yeah, Portabon. Yeah, Rob Huff, exactly. Bandsaws, they can be good. I bought a Portaband bandsaw and I made it to where I could stand it upright. That's another small shop idea that you can do. In fact, I've got plans for a stand on that as well, where you can just put it on upright, and it's also a vertical feed as well. But, like, that is one of those huge things that you can do to help your shop out, so. British pound sterling. Euros are for losers. £2 sterling, I guess. Thank you, Clam Smasher. That's great. Appreciate it. Thank you for the super chats. You guys make it possible. Appreciate it. But yeah. Yeah, I had a bandsaw. It was a big bandsaw. It stuck out in the way. I was always racking my knees on it, and then I got rid of it. And now I wish I had it back, because now I have a shop that, I could put a big bandsaw somewhere where it was out of the way and work good. So just looking for smaller options that you could do on things like that will work out. I appreciate that. I'm glad you think I'm worth it, Clam Smasher. I appreciate that. Oh no. Can you guys hear that? There's a coyote outside. What, Derek stuff, what bench vise do you prefer? That's a great question. See, that's another where I had a kind of a bad week last week. I broke my bench vise. So yeah, it snapped. So whichever one's not broke, that's the bench vise I prefer most. I don't have a brand. Heard Wilton's to be pretty good, but that's just stuff I've heard, one of those sort of deals. I don't know if that's true or not. Bill Wool, that's funny. My big bandsaw costs less than a blade for it. The saw was $30, blades cost you $45. Isn't that how that works? So. You big galoot, Roy. Roy, smash. What'd I smash? What'd I smash this time? Old Wolf, good night, buddy. Thank you for being here. Just saw your name popped up. I'm sorry maybe I didn't see you earlier, but hello and goodbye, I guess. Michael McMillan. Yeah, nope, I don't have a horse. Never have shoed anything at all. Don't plan on it. Much too big of an animal to shake hands with. Oh, your Viceroy smashed. Oh, okay, I got it. Yeah, the Vice. Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, it was actually. I think it just gave up. It was a cheap Vice when I bought it, but I was doing all this chasing work and engraving work into the hammer here, and as I was doing all the engraving work, cutting out the background and stuff, I tightened it up, and it just kind of like it got loose, and I'm like, wait a second, why is that spongy? And I looked down, and it had shorn across the casting right at the base of it. But I think it's because all the hammering I was doing on here, so which was over in the other shop, so that's what it is. So Clam Smasher, thank you. Thank you. You keep telling me, yeah, I need to listen to you. I will watch my fingers. Good luck trying to sleep to my soothing voice. Rockabye, Clam Smasher. In the blacksmith shop. That's as much singing as you'll get out of me. Mr. Crawford, no sir. I don't like horses. So you can't pawn a brown one or a rust colored one off on me. Oh. Do you like Miami Vices? I haven't never heard of them, Derek. Sing a hymn. There you go. Do you do much engraving work? I haven't in the past, but I'm slowly catching up to it. I'm doing quite a bit more of it. Not on the level of where I have a pneumatic engraver or anything like that. I don't have that yet. So everything's hammer and chisel engraving. So that's old and slow way of doing it. But I wanted to practice doing the hammer and chisel engraving first. And I would say, I don't know, on a good month, I might do maybe 10 hours of engraving a month. I would say on a bad month, maybe 10. And then when I get an actual job in, I will be like this. This was a lot of engraving. This was, this is both engraved and chased. So I don't know if you guys can see that. The camera's hard to show depth. But can you see how that's got a lot of depth to it there? That's actually proud of the surface. So I actually carved away the material up to the design on this one. A lot of chasing, usually you forge away the material and you planish it out. But this here, I actually engraved all of this. I took out all the backdrop, so it made that leaf pop on a lot better. So. And Eric Carter, would a leg vise be better for chasing? Yes, it would. I was just doing it in the other shop because it was convenient at the time and came back to bit me. Let's see here. Just going to get better. Hey, good to see you. Do you buy or make your engraving tools? I make them. Michael, is it hard to engrave iron? Nope, it's actually like carving butter. I love engraving iron. Now, steel, I carve in steel, that's another story. It's a pain in the butt. Arcs Random, hello. Good to have you here. Hopefully everyone's still here. I just froze on my end. Been having a couple of times of those this evening. I don't know what's the deal on. Jess might be on the internet somewhere else. All right, let's see here. Arcs Random said, hey Roy, just joined. I'm trying to get into blacksmithing and following the things you did with your Achaio anvil. What I'm missing is a forge and where to find coal. What do you recommend for both? All right, looks like we're back. Hopefully we're back. A forge, man, that's such a hard question. Where to find coal? Both. What do you recommend for both? I would just keep your eyes out on like Facebook Marketplace. I would keep your eyes out on Craigslist. I would keep your eyes out on all the different places. That's where you could find a forge at. There's a lot of build videos. I've got some build videos. There's plenty of other people who have build videos on those as well. So you guys can look into those. I don't really have any recommendations as I'm not really up on who is a commercial producer of coal forges. If you wanted to get a coal forge, as far as that's being. Yeah, so can't really offer a whole lot of advice in that department. But to find coal, again, you're going to have to, I would say the best thing, this is what I'd say, the best thing you can do is find your local blacksmithing group or club and then ask around. That's it. I don't care if they're 3 hours away from you, 4 hours away from you, 8 hours away from you. Find a local blacksmith club that you can go to a monthly meeting on and just start asking around, inquire around. And a lot of people are like, oh, I got an extra one, or I've got, 5 of those things. Like, I'll sell it because they're looking to make a quick buck and bring money with you. Don't expect to cheap out, but that would probably be the best way to find a good forge that way without spending like a ton of coin to do it. So Alice Harvey, do I ever use a Dremel? I think. I don't know who asked it. Dremel. No, I haven't really used any Dremel work for carving, carving away steel. I know some people do, and I have seen it, but there's a lot of bits with it. You got to get a lot of different bits to get into the little different areas. And I find something, I don't know, amusing. I like the hammer and chisel engraving. There's just a cadence to it that I like versus a noise going on. And I can work at night too, even if I want to around this time, and just that little tippity tap tap of the hammer, that little repetitive pulse of the hammer, you're not going to hear versus grinding like you're grinding somebody's fillings out. That might irk the neighbors off a bit more, even though they're like 100 yards away or better. Mr. Crawford, great. Great question. Roy, how is the gate build going? It's not going at all right now. My goal was to knock out this hammer and to knock out the other hammer that I had on my list, the super high one, that expensive one that I've been working on for a while. And then, the crack happened, and so that kind of put me behind the 8 ball, and then I had a whole bunch of rush orders come flying through the door all at once. So that's been pushed back. The customer that I'm working with, they're really open, so it's not like there's not like a definitive deadline on it with everything that's went on. Originally, I was supposed to do it earlier in the spring, but we all know what happened in the spring, so it's kind of just gotten pushed off. I've got the materials in for it now. Or the majority of the materials in for it now, so it's just me getting ahead of these other little smaller fast orders and then working through it. So yeah, bar run forge, that that should be a warning sound. So yeah, Mr. Crawford. Yeah, no, it's good. Contract's already closed on it. It's a done deal. I just have to have that window of opportunity where I can stay stuck in at it and actually get it done. And then, I don't know how much I'm going to film of it. I hope to film some of it. But with YouTube hating me these days, and am I back? Hello? Can everyone hear me now? Let's see here. I look like I'm back, but we'll see. Can everybody see me? Okay. I started talking bad about the place that's not to be mentioned. They have a red play button. Not today, YouTube. Not today. Oh, brother. Oh, hey, we'll see how it goes. So, yeah. Oh, it's back. Yeah, I'm back. Surprisingly, I lost everybody. That's the way it works. So, hopefully, Mr. Crawford's still here. If you're not back, you have to refresh your screen. But if you're not back, you won't hear me say that at all. Yeah, bar run forge. Yeah, that's exactly right. So, I don't know. My channel goes through weird stuff like that. On the whole YouTube side of things, it's a cycle. Sometimes they love my stuff and my content, and they're promoting it overly so, and things seem to be flying off the handle, and it's going to be great. And man, one day I'm going to be like Alex Steele level, and then the next minute it's like, oh, it doesn't matter that I have 1,450 videos out there. I'm making like 12 new subs a day. That's it. And there's other months where I get like 100 new subs a day, and it's like, oh wow, this is going good, and then it doesn't work. So yeah. So yeah. So just YouTube. Yeah, that's it. Derek stuff. Yeah, all of my pieces are commission based stuff usually. Question. Bandsaw speed, how many feet per minute for steel cutting? Great question. As slow as you can go. So I've read anywhere from 50 to 150 inches per minute on your feed for bandsaws and things like that. You want to go as usually slower the better. There's a point where it's like, okay, this is creeping, and then you can adjust it and make it go a little faster. But I'd start, if you've got a belt tracked bandsaw, I would start at the slowest speed possible and then work up from there. And about the time it seems like it's skating, the blade's just skating on the steel, that's where you need to stop. Yep. So yeah, so where was I? I don't know. Before YouTube shut us down. Derek stuff. Great. Yeah, again, most commission pieces. Word of mouth. I would say maybe 20% word of mouth. A lot of my commission pieces are just one-off clients that see my work on the internet somewhere and decide they want it. Thank you, just going to get better. Yeah. I fall in love with my shop too. So. But yeah, most of my commissions, they come in organically, so they're just out there. I mean, they're just, they're just out there that people find me on the internet. They find a picture of mine on Pinterest or something or another like that, and then they come through the doors. Some of it's through Etsy. I mean, a good bit of it's through Etsy. A lot of it's through our own personal website now. And then occasionally I will get the odd commission from YouTube itself, from people who watch us on YouTube. So it works out okay. All right, so hopefully, yeah. But yeah, so Daniel, Mr. Crawford was asking me. That's where I was at. He was asking me what I about the gate, how the gate's coming along, and I was kind of saying that I don't know how much I'm going to film of the gate work, and the reason why I don't know how much I'm going to film of the gate work is because of I can work about 3 times as quick without a camera in my hand. With a camera in my hand, when I'm trying to take and film things, it really does slow things up. Unless you guys just want a bird's eye view of my shop and watch like a 90-hour stream of me working in my shop. And that's going to be boring. This is going to be a lot of me just diddling around and head scratching and things like that, and not talking, just getting work done, right? So there's going to be a lot of that. So to put it in a video format, you have to change camera angles, and that means you have to refocus the camera, and that means you have to light the areas. There's areas of my shop that aren't as well lit as this, and so it's not great for camera work. So you have to readjust everything as you're going, right? So you just have to keep moving lights and moving things. And the problem with that is, in a professional shop, an actual professional shop, that is not handy to do. I don't have a camera crew. I film everything myself. I edit everything myself. And I upload everything myself. And then Jessica, she works on all the SEO, the search engine optimization type stuff on the back end. So you can thank her for all the stuff that she puts down in the description and all the links and things like that and stuff. That's Jessica's thing that she does. you know, to help out. And the thumbnails, she does a great job with the thumbnails as well. But yeah, so just having to do all that and then keep your mind straight with measurements and everything else. It's a lot to do with not having a full camera crew on your heels. It just slows everything up. So I will probably film short little segments of the gate build, but as far as filming a cohesive video, I can't do it. I can't do a cohesive video, not the way that, you know, I want to. It definitely won't be a how-to. Definitely won't be one of those. So, but yeah, and there's a ton of work into it. You know, there's a ton of work into YouTube videos. So, you know, for instance, again, we're encroaching. Actually, I just finished filming my 1450th video. So all those are in the audio's out of sync now. Great. We'll see how that works. But yeah, I filmed like my 1450th video the other day. So those are in the bank now. Those are being released slowly, but you know, again, it's one of those deals where that's a lot of effort to put out that many videos of content, and then to keep that up too. You know, try to do 7 days a week or anything else like that. It's a lot. it's a lot to keep up on that and do, you know, my regular full-time stuff. So there was a lot. It was funny actually earlier on in smithing. Yeah, Bill, well, why don't you do that? Refresh your audio there. Well, refresh your screen. Maybe that'll work. But yeah, it was funny earlier on in YouTube. I was trying to do a lot of beginner basic stuff to help people out, mainly because I felt the most comfortable talking about that sort of thing. Is just like, oh, well, here's a little helpful tip for somebody who's maybe just getting started. And then, hey, it was funny. I kind of got my panties in a bunch a bit because I had a bunch of other smiths out there and viewers and commenters that are like, oh, well, you know, yeah, Roy's fine if you want to learn like beginner things. And like they said it so passe, like oh, well, yeah, that little fellow over there that only knows how to do beginner type stuff. So I decided to, I'm like, well, I'm going to start doing larger projects and start showing the, you know, trying to strut my stuff a little bit, trying to show off, right? A little bit of that pride kind of hurt me. Well, the problem is you're not going to get that done in a day. There's not. And there's clients' orders that I have that I'm not even allowed to talk about. Like, I'm not, you know, I can't show off their ironwork on camera. and I'm not willing to lose the contract to do so. So, you know, there's stuff like that, right? That ends up, and so the things I ended up doing for YouTube, I took time out of my regular ironwork that I was doing for clients, and I just like made days and weeks of time where I was just focusing on nothing but making cool things for YouTube. And I realized out real quick that, yeah, that's few and far between, so I can't really do those type videos. So back to the beginner tutorials and things like that for a little bit anyhow, until I get like a production crew or something out here. Then who knows? Maybe things will happen. So that's funny. Don't lose too much sleep or you'll end up with a hand of black nails. Yeah, gotta watch out for that. So then my alarm goes off, pauses the feed, comes back working fine. My alarm. That's good. Yeah, the audio sync. Yeah, whenever I get a notification on the phone, I get the same thing. Like it'll freeze a little bit, so it might be on my end as well. This is a phone. Obviously, this isn't our regular production quality for our Friday Night Lives. This is just a rando, a complete random stream for us. I just wanted to sit down and chat for a while and hang out with you all. So I hope you guys enjoyed this stream somewhat with all the technical difficulties and whatnots. Maybe you guys learned a little something or got a few things out of it, hopefully. hopefully somebody got something out of it. Also, Derek stuff, do you do collaboration projects? I would like to do more collaboration projects, and yes, I do collaboration projects, but right now in my life, yeah, I just don't have enough time, unfortunately, to do collaboration projects right now. I want to. I've got one that I'm working on with Yamez over at Island Metal Forge. That's like a Forge Around the World book. Yeah, I've got a lot to do. I mean, I've got a lot to do on that. It's not a lot. It's like literally I got to add a touch mark to the book, but in order to film it and everything else, it's like, okay, and I got all these orders on me, and it's, you know, it's time to make hay right now, and so I've been a little bit slack on that. But I will be having a video coming out on that soon. Don't you worry about it. Yeah, plus there's a pandemic and all. Yeah. Robert Shell, thank you. I'm glad you think the channel is a good resource. I appreciate that. I really do appreciate that. I enjoy teaching. I enjoy teaching, and I enjoy it if people are actually finding value in it. And I guess the only thing that will probably get me to stop YouTube at some point is if people no longer find value in it. If people no longer find value in the channel, then poof, there it goes. I can go on to other things in my life, but you know, as long as people are finding value in the videos that I produce and stuff, I'll keep making them for anybody out there that'll touch and help out. So, who do you recommend to make a complicated touch mark? Bill Wall. Rio Grande makes, you can get touch marks from them. I know there's somebody else who makes touch marks around the blacksmithing community. I'm not sure of the lady's name though, but touch marks, the Rio Grande can make them in any size thing that you want. From what I understand, all the way down to where you need a microscope to see them or a little jeweler's loop to see them. So I'd kind of recommend them. It's gonna be costly. That's why I haven't gotten mine from there. I made my own. And if you can spend a little time with a needle file and can be kind of comfortable heat treating some spring steel on a small scale like that, you can make your own touch mark pretty readily. Pretty complex. Use a Dremel, carve out some material, do things like that. Brew Lemon, howdy. Good to have you here. Great question. What project am I really excited, like really excited about doing next? Excuse me. So, good question. I have a couple projects around the house that I need to get done. One of those is a hose reel for the outside of the house, so that's going to be fun. I also need to create some towel bars and some other stuff, towel rings for our bathroom inside our house. So I plan on having some fun with those. I'll be looking forward to those. Some of the projects that I'm really looking forward to is I actually have a couple designs for some more advanced Baroque ironwork, and those are around like sign brackets and candelabras and chandeliers and things like that. So that's going to take a little bit of time to get into that. Eventually, the big plan is to actually build a couple chandeliers for in here. So when I do regular work or if I have an open house or something, it's not like all the stadium lighting like you're seeing here, like we do in videos, but it has that Gothic feel to it, you know. And I mean, look at the backdrop. Like, how cool would that be to have some chandeliers going? So yeah, so that's kind of those I'm getting pretty excited about. This winter I've been wanting to do for a long time, and maybe I'll get a chance to do this winter, is forge a sleigh. So make an actual sleigh for the kids. I'm kind of excited about that, and just kind of do that as a cool dad thing to do, right? So, of course, I'll probably make a YouTube video around it, just to I don't know, extract value time for the money that I'll have into it. And, you know, I'll make a YouTube video around it and get paid 12 cents. But I got something. Something's better than nothing. But yeah, and I can't say enough, like, yeah, a sleigh, like a sled. Not a sled, but like a sleigh. Like, you know, Santa's sleigh, that kind of sleigh. I like the big scroll work on the front and things. Yeah, pretty excited about those. There's one hammer, there's a current job I'm working on, a current customer's hammer. I was really excited about this hammer here. But there's another one that I'm working on for another customer, and I'm looking forward to taking and completing that thing. If you guys want to see and follow progress stuff that I'm doing on a regular basis, I do stay kind of current on Instagram. So if you want to follow me over on Instagram, that's a great way of, you know, seeing kind of some of the behind the scenes things where I'm chasing stuff or starting on things. I know I've got a few pictures of this drawn out, you know, just drawn on the thing, and a little bit of progress photos on this thing as I went. And then I also have some other, I've got progress photos on the other hammer that I'm currently working on. A really nice big commission, so. Yeah, get in the sleigh and smile. Kids, daddy's gotta get paid. Exactly. Yeah, Bill Wolf, sleigh runners, T-shaped, like extruded. Yeah, that'd be cool to see. Derek Stuff, yep, I've made crosses for churches. In fact, one of my commission I had today was a cross. It was a simple cross. When people say, excuse me, when people say things like, I got commissioned, that can sound bigger and more important than what it is. I got a job. You know, artists call it commissioned, but I got commissioned, if you will, to make a really simple cross. It was a really simple cross with some hammer texture on the outside. It's not like I've made like layered crosses before and a lot of scroll work and stuff. And this one was just a plain cross. They just wanted a plain cross to hang on their wall. So it was a real quick job. It took me like an hour and a half, you know, to kind of put it together. You know, it took me an hour and a half-ish to do it, but that was with like everything going on. So, you know, it was a nice quick psh, in the door, out the door kind of thing, and that's pretty good. So, but yeah, I've made crosses for grave sites. I've made crosses for like memorial plaques. I've made crosses for churches. Yeah, I make a lot of baptismal basins, things like that for churches as well sometimes. Well, yep, I've seen a folding chair turned into a forge. Anything is possible. Haha, yeah, ones they use to iron cast devils out with. I don't know if any of mine's ever cast out any devils, but you never know. Usually whatever the customer's doing with their item, I don't really care afterwards. So if it's theirs, you know, it leaves the door, it's there. So I just put as much work as I can into it, as much of myself into it as I can, and business practices and things like that, and let everybody else worry about the meanings, things like that. But anyways, again, thank you all for joining me in this live stream. I'm thinking I'm going to probably call it quits. I'm going to go inside, get a shower, call it an evening, and get ready for my work day tomorrow. Getting right back at it. Got a lot of ground to cover this next week here. Yeah, so yeah, and thank you everybody who's watched. If you haven't subscribed and this is your first time on the channel, you know, check it out. Next week we will have our Friday Night Live where we will be giving away several pairs of tongs, things like that. So definitely do that if, you know, you're in the market for those. And what else I want to say? Also, yeah, I have a blacksmithing class, by the way, coming up at the end of August. Believe it's right at the end of August. I've got a blacksmithing class where I will be teaching floral forms in Goshen, Ohio. So I believe you can go over to like Goshen Blacksmiths or Goshen Blacksmiths. Look up Goshen, Ohio, and the blacksmith shop. Look, Goshen, Ohio Blacksmith, and it'll pop up the results if you Google that. If you're interested in taking a class, that'll be coming up here soon. Yeah, I mean, that's basically it. Thank you guys so much for joining me and hanging out with me on this Friday night. I know you guys could have plenty of other things to do, so I do greatly appreciate you guys coming out and hanging for a bit. Sorry about all the technical difficulties with the phone and all, but that's kind of how the cookie crumbles when you don't have Jessica in the shop, making sure everything goes right. So, all right, everybody, take care, and until next time, we'll see you later. Be good. Be blessed. Thanks for showing up.